Meghan is hardly innocent. She's down in the dirt with me, whether she likes it or not.
Something is wrong behind the scenes. Very wrong. The air around Buckingham Palace feels heavier than ever, as if the walls themselves are holding a secret they're too afraid to whisper. People close to the royal circles are saying it. Something's brewing quietly, dangerously, and this time, it's not the media's fault. It's something from within. And right in the middle of it all stands Meghan Markle, once the shining newcomer, now allegedly the name no one wants to say out loud. Because this isn't about popularity or press headlines anymore. This is about buried truths and a prince who's had enough of being silent. For years, Prince Andrew was the royal family's walking scandal, the dark stain they tried to scrub out of history. His fall was brutal, his titles gone, his dignity torn apart. The man who once strutted through royal halls in confidence was reduced to a symbol of disgrace. And for a long while, he stayed silent. People thought that was it, that he'd vanished into the shadows forever. But oh, how wrong they were. Because now, whispers are floating through London that Andrew has started talking again, not to the press, not publicly, but privately, strategically. And the one name that keeps slipping from his lips? Meghan Markle. Yes, Meghan, the Duchess who once seemed untouchable. Sources say she's panicking behind closed doors, terrified of what Andrew might reveal. Because whatever he's hinting at, it's something that ties her far closer to him than anyone ever imagined. Insiders say Andrew has begun recalling details from his past, memories he swore he'd take to the grave. But after losing everything, his status, his role, his respect, he now allegedly believes he's got nothing left to lose. And that makes him more dangerous than ever. According to those familiar with royal affairs, Andrew feels betrayed not just by the world, but by his own family. He was sacrificed for the sake of the crown, while others, particularly Meghan, were protected. To him, that isn't justice, it's hypocrisy. The palace built a wall of silence around Meghan, guarding her from scandal, while he was left to burn. And that double standard, sources say, has pushed him to the edge. Now, he's ready to break that silence, and Meghan's name keeps coming up in ways that could turn her carefully curated image upside down. Before the wedding, before the documentaries, before the Duchess title, there was a version of Meghan the world barely knew. A Meghan who was moving through certain social circles most of the public had never heard of. And guess who else existed in those same circles? Andrew. But that's not all. People close to the Epstein network remember another name floating nearby, Karina Shuliak, Epstein's last known girlfriend. Karina had publicly admitted that her travels, her yachts, her jets, her social events were all arranged through Epstein. And here's where the whispers begin to sting. Photos from 2014 allegedly showed Meghan appearing on yachts connected to the very same crowd. The palace never let that surface. They buried it deep, choosing protection over exposure. The reasoning was simple: they couldn't afford another royal scandal, not after everything with Andrew, so they shielded her. They erased every thread that could link her to that world. But now, Andrew, furious, humiliated, and free from royal control, might be ready to bring those threads back to light. And it gets darker. Sources claim that Virginia Roberts Giuffre, yes, the woman who took Andrew to court, had allegedly wanted Meghan Markle to testify. Not as a victim, not as an outsider, but as a witness. Why? Because she supposedly recognized Meghan from that same social circle, the one filled with billionaires, royals, and men like Epstein. She allegedly believed Meghan had seen more than she ever admitted. Imagine that for years, people assumed their paths had never crossed, but insiders are now saying the connection may go far deeper than anyone ever realized. If that's true, Andrew's silence isn't just about protecting his own story, it's about hers too. Because if those ties are real, if Meghan was indeed part of those private gatherings, if she knew Andrew and was present in his world before Harry ever entered the picture, it rewrites her entire fairy tale. And Andrew allegedly knows it. To understand how Meghan found herself mixing with billionaires, elites, and royalty long before she was Duchess of Sussex, you have to go back to Toronto, 2011, the year she landed for Suits. Back then, she was just another actress trying to make a name. But soon, doors that stayed closed for years suddenly swung open. Insiders say the turning point was a man named Marcus Anderson, the Soho House insider who became Meghan's golden ticket. He didn't just introduce her to high society, he placed her in it. Overnight, she went from a TV actress to a face seen at private events filled with power players, jet owners, and men whose names never made the tabloids. From there, things escalated fast. Meghan wasn't climbing the social ladder, she was being lifted. The parties, the yacht trips, the VIP circles, they all blended with the same social groups connected to people like Karina Shuliak and Epstein's network. It was a world few entered without serious connections, and Meghan somehow did. That was the real start of her royal path. But here's the kicker. It wasn't Harry who opened those doors. Long before their blind date, Meghan was already close friends with Princess Eugenie, Prince Andrew's daughter. Yes, that Eugenie. Which means Meghan didn't just stumble into the royal family, she already had a foot in the door. Think about it. Eugenie was part of Andrew's world, his inner family circle. If Meghan and Eugenie were already friends, Meghan was closer to Andrew's life than the public ever knew. When the Epstein scandal broke, Meghan had already become a duchess untouchable, protected, insulated. But Andrew? He was cast out. And now, according to insiders, he's quietly asking, why did I fall alone? Why was I destroyed while she was protected? And that bitterness? It's boiling. Behind palace walls, Andrew has allegedly started bringing up Meghan's name more and more. He's reportedly been telling trusted friends that she was around back then, that she wasn't a stranger to that social scene, and that the palace's silence over her past is proof that someone powerful is covering for her. He's angry, not just for his own downfall, but for what he sees as royal hypocrisy. If he had to pay for his mistakes, he believes she should too. And now that he's got nothing left to lose, he just might speak. Then there's Fergie Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's ex-wife. She's suffered alongside him, stripped of dignity, struggling to rebuild her image. And after the scandal, she allegedly reached out to Meghan privately, hoping for kindness, maybe even help. But according to royal insiders, Meghan refused. Coldly. She offered no support, no public defense, not even a polite word. And that rejection, they say, flipped everything. Fergie and Andrew had no reason left to protect her. The loyalty Meghan once enjoyed vanished the moment she turned her back. And just like that, the whispers began. The kind that spread in hushed tones across palace corridors. The kind that make journalists lean in and editors hold their breath. Meghan could sense it too. Insiders claim she's become tense, distant, even paranoid about who's talking to whom. Because she knows that Andrew and Fergie together hold pieces of a truth she can't afford to see in print. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Prince Harry is said to be unraveling. He's far from home, far from the palace, and far from anyone who'd tell him what's being said behind his back. And when he allegedly began hearing fragments about Meghan's old connections, real names, real photos, real timelines, it hit him hard. People close to them claim Harry was shaken, angry, betrayed. Not just because Meghan might have known Andrew long before him, but because she allegedly hid how deep those ties went. Now, he's stuck isolated in California, wondering who his wife really was before all of this began. And Meghan? She's running out of allies. The people who once pulled her upward, Marcus Anderson, Jessica Mulrooney, even Fergie, are all gone from her side. One by one, she's burned the bridges that built her, and the people left behind, they're the ones who know her past best. Andrew, Fergie, Eugenie, 3 names. 3 people who could speak, who could confirm, who could tear everything down. And the palace? Silent. The press? Watching. Everyone seems to be waiting for something for him. Because when Andrew finally opens his mouth, it won't be soft. It'll be a shockwave. Insiders say he's not after revenge anymore, he wants balance. He wants the truth to finally be even. And the moment that happens, Meghan's entire narrative, the fairy tale, the victimhood, the rise from actress to duchess collapses in one strike. Every empire is built on secrets. But when those secrets start talking, even queens can fall. And somewhere behind the gates of Buckingham Palace, a storm is forming. Quiet, cold, and unstoppable. And yet, even with all this swirling around her, Meghan tries to act like nothing's wrong, smiling for cameras, posting polished holiday photos, pretending that California sunshine can drown out a London storm. But people close to her say the calm is a mask. Inside, she's crumbling. Every whisper from across the Atlantic feels like a dagger aimed straight at the life she built so carefully. She knows that if Andrew truly speaks, the story won't just be about him anymore. It'll be about her past, her choices, her rise, and everything she thought she'd left behind. Because think about it, if even a hint of what Andrew is allegedly threatening to expose comes out, the entire royal narrative gets rewritten. Harry's love story becomes a setup. The palace's protection looks like complicity. The media that painted her as the innocent outsider suddenly turns the lens the other way, asking questions that have never been asked before. How much did she really know? Where exactly was she during those years? Who introduced her to whom? Questions she can't afford to answer, but ones that won't stay buried forever. Insiders say palace aides are already panicking quietly behind closed doors. No one wants another public disaster. They've had enough. Andrew's scandal, Diana's history, Harry's interviews, Meghan's lawsuits. The crown has survived everything from abdications to affairs, but this could ignite the one thing the monarchy can't control: public doubt. Because once the people start asking why certain names were protected, why some scandals were erased while others were magnified, it's game over. The monarchy's power doesn't lie in blood, it lies in belief. And Meghan's story has always been about belief, but now that story is cracking. Even her Hollywood allies are said to be stepping back. The glamour that once surrounded her is fading. Projects stall, invitations dwindle, and whispers about toxicity behind the scenes grow louder. To outsiders, she's still royalty, but to those who know the truth or claim they do, she's become a liability. The woman who once outsmarted the palace may have finally outplayed herself, and through it all, Andrew waits, patiently, methodically. He's seen what silence cost him, and he's learned that the only real weapon left to a fallen prince is the truth. He's not rushing, he's calculating. Letting the tension build, letting Meghan sweat, letting the palace realize that if they don't give him back some dignity, he might just take everyone down with him. Those close to the situation say the mood inside Buckingham Palace has changed. Staff who once avoided Andrew's name now whisper it again, quietly wondering if he'll go rogue. Royal correspondents have started watching for signs: a single leaked email, a quote from a friend, a meeting with an old journalist. Something is coming, something big. And somewhere in California, behind tall gates and manicured lawns, Meghan knows it too. She's checking her phone more than usual, her PR team working overtime, and Harry, poor Harry, is caught in the middle, torn between defending his wife and facing the possibility that he never really knew her at all. Because if Andrew talks, the headlines won't just say Prince speaks out, they'll say Prince exposes Duchess. And when that happens, the fairy tale that began with a sparkling engagement ring might just end with the sound of a door slamming shut on both of them. No matter how far she runs, how many oceans she crosses, or how bright the Californian sun shines, the shadows of Buckingham Palace stretch long, and this time, they're reaching right for Meghan Markle.